I'm Mikal Shapiro. I've been a songwriter in Kansas City for the past 20 years, and this is an excerpt from my last album, The Musical. So I use the musical as a way to contextualize the dramatic shifts between my songs. You'll hear some more excerpts illustrating that. I've got a new album coming out this Saturday. It's a sequel. It's a little campier, like sequels are. And as you probably know, it's not just, you don't just write songs, you have to make a product. So I've been designing the actual CD. This is the CD design, and some of the inserts and the writing, along with making the actual physical thing that I sell at my shows. And there's making the tracks, there's going into the studio, arranging the music for the musicians, arranging the musicians to come into the studio, and then after that, after you have the thing in your hand, there's distribution, there's promotion, the stuff that I don't find particularly fun. I prefer to just sit in my room and play my guitar and craft songs. Here's another mock-up of the CD packaging, which I just got today. Some of the ways that I promote myself, of course, social media is the cheapest and easiest way to do that. I'm learning how to do that more efficiently because it can be a full-time job in and of itself. I've been using promotions, I've been boosting posts, I've been reading up about how to do that in a way that maximizes the amount it shows up in people's feeds, and that's an ongoing That's ongoing research that constantly changes. I also have a website where I sell a lot of my merchandise. I have CDs for sale from this album that's coming out on Saturday, to my last album, to t-shirts and stickers. I'm also selling advance tickets through my website, and all this money, because of the platform, goes right to me. So as an independent musician, this is really how I maximize my profits. I don't have to give a cut to anything. I do spend some money on someone else writing about me, because writing about me is, it's difficult. I get very cheeky very quickly because I can't take it too seriously. Some of the challenges, physical challenge, I can't be everywhere at once. I do tour quite a bit. So how to maximize and stay healthy. Mental challenges, I don't like bookkeeping. You know, staying disciplined in the things, in the non-creative side of things is sometimes a big challenge for me. I'm still learning how to make a business out of music. And then there's the spiritual challenges, which I grew up in a fundamentalist New Age family, so I think about my soul all the time and how it's growing and how capitalism doesn't really fit with my spiritual values in the way that I don't like to create art with some end product in mind, or how this is going to sell, because I think that makes for terrible music, makes for terrible art, unless you're Andy Warhol, but that's questionable too. Some of my goals and how I'm trying to approach these challenges, one of them is for being, I can't be in two places at one time, so how do I be present in all the places that I need to be without being physically there? And I'm thinking more about licensing my songs, getting into film and television, and also digital distribution. I've dug my heels in for a long time against Spotify and some of these platforms that don't really pay the artist, but you get exposure, right? And I'm coming around, I don't know. I guess it's just I'm getting older and I can't be everywhere at once, and I can't tour as extensively. I like to grow my garden at home, and that takes being rooted. Some of the mental goals that I have for myself is just to be more efficient, to streamline the processes of the things that I don't like to do so I don't have to spend as much time on them. Bookkeeping, marketing, booking, expanding my networks. I'm an introvert, which is kind of weird. Maybe people don't really expect that from a performer, but this terrifies me. I don't have my guitar. So finding ways to create systems for myself in my practice. And then the spiritual stuff, all those things, like how to play the game in a way that feels like play, that's creative. Do the non-creative stuff creatively. I don't know how to do that. I guess I kind of have to keep a good sense of humor about it, or else it sort of crushes me a bit. Follow my gut, continually checking back in with myself and what feels good to, my soul. And some of my needs here, I need help with marketing, bookkeeping, booking, and all those other things that went by really too quickly. You can find out more at mikhailshapiro.com. I did bring some of my newest releases here. I just got the CD today, so I have 5 of those copies. If anybody wants one, they retail for $15, but today you showed up, so you get them for free. And any questions? Thank you, Kansas City.
To you all to help with brainstorming some of Mikhail's goals and needs and how she can best meet some of those. I'm not sure if we're able to, I know it was going through a slide, I'm not sure if we're able to pull up one section and stop. But if anyone has any initial questions or comments around how Mikhail can license her songs for film and TV, fulfilling some of her needs around social media, budgeting, marketing, all the mental things, and making her a challenge, we welcome you to raise your hand and I'll bring the mic your way. Or if you have other questions.
Paul.
I have to say, that's probably the best 6-minute summary of the challenges of being a 21st century musician that I have ever seen. So congratulations.
Wow, who knew?
Grappling with that and sort of understanding how tough the demands are right now on musicians. I wish I had more help to offer.
Well, you're retired now, right? You could. What do you have to do with your time? I mean, you can.
I worry way too much about everything, including this. Music is so important, and I really wish more people understand how important it is to directly support musicians. And I'm joking that too, because I have my music membership, and can listen to almost anything for nothing above my $12 a month or whatever it is. But I do always try to buy CDs from artists, and I try to go to live music as much as I can. And it feels like I'm smart commentary, but maybe we'll provoke smart ideas here. But I'm amazed at how much live music we now have in Kansas City. And I'm a little worried that, are we reaching the point where the market is oversaturated? I mean, I said that how musicians continue to get out there and perform with us.
Well, Kansas City is a small market, and you have to move around. I mean, that's kind of the way that I found it works for me, is you don't have to move too far. I go out to St. Louis. I have a really great fan base out in St. Louis, and like regionally in Columbus, Ohio, and sprinkling in New York, and I go east a lot. Yeah, Kansas City, I can't play here too much, or I will oversaturate my fan base here. They don't want to come out to a show and pay $12 or $10, to see me twice a week, So, and that ticket sale also goes to paying the musicians who play for me. So it gets split a lot of ways, and I make a lot of money, not a lot of money, but I make some money from my merchandise, and that's really where I'm selling things. It's not as much online, which I could probably, as one of the things, to focus on, is to how do I how can I reach more people without having to be there, you know?
I do have one idea. Have you looked at Patreon?
I've heard of that, and I know Carsey Blanton out of New Orleans, if you've ever heard of her. She's a great songwriter. She makes her living off of Patreon. So yeah, that's one thing that I'll put the little bug in there.
Kind of thing you can just start in, and you know, I support one or two artists on Patreon.
And what that is you give a donation, some suggested donation, and then you're kind of like a member of their club. It's kind of like the Disney Mickey Mouse Club or something.
One feminist author, $3 a month. That just happens every month. I love her writing, want to support her, and actually it's maybe $700 or $800 a month from, you know, obviously a bunch of different people. But that's consistent income for her. That frees her up to do more writing. And we're the kind of artist who is charismatic, has a lot to say, has a lot to offer people. And people do have a fan base. Just getting, you know, 20 or 30 of them to give $2-3 a month.
They don't have to be Medici's or whatever.
Exactly. Kind of reach a point where you have some reliable income, and somebody that's something.
Thank you so much, Paul. Mikhail, there's also, I'll have to double back with Susanna, but she attends it's a freelance exchange, I believe, group in Kansas City, and different freelancers that do marketing, booking, you know, social media, things of that nature that maybe you could go there and you know, connect and find somebody that can help you with these aspects.
Yeah, I think that's another challenge with Kansas City is that there's a lot of musicians and there's a lot of incredible music, but there's not a lot of music industry people. There's not a lot of the infrastructure that we see in other cities, you know, like the people who book and, you know, booking agents and things like that, yeah.
But I will connect back with Susanna on what that, I believe it's freelance exchange, and then we can see, you know, what they needed and when they needed, if there will be something for you.
Sure.
There's one more thing too. There's also a place called Upwork. I recently heard about that at another entrepreneurial event, and it's a freelancers platform. And you can say, hey, this is what I'm looking for, and then connect with people. And it's called Upwork.
Okay.
So that's another one. Any other questions and/or comments from Mikhail?
I had a question about your new album.
Mm-hmm.
When you started crafting your new album, did you intend to make it as a sequel? Did you intend to make this new album as a sequel, or did it develop into a sequel?
It developed into a sequel. It's the same core four in my band, and that sound was instrumental. Sorry, pun intended, but for the first album, and it feels like, yeah, it definitely feels like a continuation of that first album. I mean, we've grown as a band and we're further along, but there's continuity with the shifts from track to track. We're drawing from so many different influences, and we're able to kind of seamlessly move between these different styles of music. Yeah. And also, I was a B horror movie fan, so having a sequel like Ghoulies 2, you know, it's kind of fun for me.
Other questions or comments? Does anyone know how Mikhail could license her songs for film and TV, or an organization she can connect to?
Well, as a filmmaker, I know you have connections with the filmmaking community. And so if you can talk much about filmmaking today, is that kind of dormant now?
No, absolutely not. It's really one of my streams of income right now. I've been, between recording and putting this album out, I've been building my video freelance work. So that's definitely one of the streams of income. Yeah. And yes, I do have connections in the local film community. They're, you know, a lot of times they're not in the position of licensing music, but, you know, I could put the bug out, the word out a little more in that department, sure.
I know LA is a horrible place to go.
There's so many people that live there, though. I don't understand.
But it does seem like that might be a city you might visit once or twice, just to kind of check out what kind of connections you can make there by physically showing up. I know there's a KFC small contingent out in LA, but people like Ray and Tia are very well connected. I would just drop some hints with her that you're interested in that kind of thing, you never know, whatever it is.
Okay, yeah.
Other ideas? You got a question here?
Are you affiliated with BMI or ASCAP?
BMI, mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, they're not, well, you made the comment that there's not really an industry here,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't need one here anymore.
Right.
So I just wondered how much you've been engaging with those sort of institutions within the industry. CSAC, I know, at least traditionally used to do more film-related work.
CSAC, yeah, I've read up on that a little bit, but I feel like now that I have these 2 albums under my belt, like I feel like, okay, I need to do something with them. And so those are BMI and things, licensing organizations. I mean, I haven't done the research. I'm kind of like just putting this thing together, and then I show up here, and if anybody has any suggestions. But this is definitely where my mind is at, and I'm looking forward to like getting more involved in the research of that. I mean, not really looking forward to it, but.
You have a publishing relationship with a publishing house? Okay, so that would be another way, because they can help you find ways to exploit your compositions for the positive use of exploiting, not the negative.
I just want to exploit them.
But so they could put those songs places so that there's exposure there, and that's somebody else doing it. That you wouldn't have.
That'd be great. Do you have a card or no?
But there are those out there. They are going to do that. So, yeah. Okay.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Oh, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm a member of ASCAP. I'm sure BMI has a similar program. ASCAP has a ASCAP Plus rewards, where if you fill out all the gigs that you've been planning on tour and you list all the material that you've been performing, you can actually get a check at the end of the year. It helps out with mid-range artists that aren't getting the same radio play that most of their flagship artists are getting. They kind of suck up all the profits. So it's a lot of people leaving the PROs because they didn't see a benefit to being in like most people.
Well, and a lot of times these venues don't necessarily, I mean, some of the venues that I play, house concerts and, coffee shops don't have the licensing. And so if I report them, then there's crackdown that's been happening on these like smaller venues and things.
Right. So you want to pick and choose your battle on that one. But any other higher profile thing, and then there's also a pay breakdown that happens depending on the kind of music you say you make. It's really, really Byzantine. I've never understood how they come up with it. If you call yourself a concert artist, you'll make 3 times as much. If you call yourself a film artist, you'll make twice as much as somebody just a pop artist or a folk artist. So
Where are you declaring that?
it's on one of the first things on a little punch form that you fill out.
Okay.
Online. So
For ASCAP?
Yeah, I'm sure BMI has a very similar situation. And it's, of course, they're really not interested in spending any money. So they make it really difficult to understand how it works. So I would do your homework, and whatever you can find out as to what the highest pay rate is for any of those, shoehorn yourself into whatever that category is for that particular organization that you would review at the end of the year. I don't ever get a huge check. It's not forcing, it's usually 3. Like touring on foot, it's not bad.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
I do think the most important thing you said was the concept of play. And you don't have to be a capitalist to enjoy the game of Monopoly. And I think the more you frame it in your own mind as, I'm playing and doing this, that doesn't mean it's co-opting your values. And there are a lot of us who are consumers who feel the same way. I mean, I love being able to pay artists for products and things and help support their careers.
Can I quote you on that?
I wish more people understood that.
Any other comments, questions, feedback? Okay, thank you everyone for participating in that session. And just as a final question that we ask to all of our artists and entrepreneurs, what can we as a community do to help further your art?
Share it. I'm one person. I wear a lot of different hats, but one of the thing that helps me most is just the promotional side of it. You know, if you like my music, share it with your friends, tell your family about it, you know. Guide them to my website.
And give
That's
that
it.
website one more time.
MichalShapiro.com. If you can spell my name, you can get there, and you don't have to pronounce it or anything. So, yeah. Thanks so much, Ebony.
Wonderful. Thank you all.